I kind of like that name. Volume.
Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. If you're new, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Marvel Snap content. We are going to look at some leaks today because we have more card leaks. Starting with Shadowlands Daredevil. He's a 2/2 with the ability on reveal, shuffle 3 demons into your deck when you draw a card with 6 or more power, plus 2 power. Now, I don't know the direction they're going to be going for this season theme, whether it's a Daredevil theme, but like whatever the cards do, I don't know how they're going to make them like work together. But just reading this ability, knowing that you get 3 1/6 demons into your deck and they juice him up a little bit each time you play or draw one, is interesting. I assume you're gonna want like Adam Warlock or something in this deck to actually make it to where you control your deck, because usually adding more stuff to your deck isn't a good idea when you have 6 turns to play the deck that you have. So for me personally, I'm not really looking forward to playing this guy myself because I don't like putting more things into my deck. Now, if you have Adam Warlock, you can make him work, but what are you gonna do with this combo? Like, what is your combo plan for this card? It sounds like you just want a bunch of things bigger than 6 power in your deck, which are going to be pretty pricey. So demons do make sense, but at the same time, it's only 2 power. So he seems okay if you like that type of thing, if you like demons, or if you like the idea of throwing demons into your deck. There's some like used recommended decks down here. So let's see here. We have a Squirrel Girl deck that has Ultron in it, Gilgamesh, Blue Marvel. Like, these are just idea decks. I mean, yeah, Chamber could work if you rock a bunch of those, I suppose. I mean, if you're rocking high stats, you could throw Chamber in with them. Moving on to Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. He's a 5/9 cards or cost 3 if you have the highest power card in play. Well, he is a 5 power, so you know who does work with this? Chamber. You could play Chamber turn 2, activate Chamber if your hand is full of high-powered stuff, and boom, you can probably play this guy on turn 3. Seems pretty straightforward to me. What else could you do with him? It's saying Nebula, Iron Patriots, Speed, Drax, Gladiator. So it's just a bunch of big powered things. Fing Fang Foom, obviously, but like you're getting really, really, really late into the game if you're going Fing Fang Foom. So 5/9 is a solid stat line. It's not a crazy stat line. 3/9 is a much better stat line, but at the same time, you have no other value than his stats. I personally prefer cards with like utility and things that are going to give you more utility. This isn't utility at all. This is just being big, and playing him at a cheaper cost. Do I think he'll be popular? Maybe. There's a lot of decks out there that run weird basic stuff, but this one doesn't really fit in anywhere unless you plan on having that early board control to throw him out as soon as possible. So is he good stat-wise? 3/9, it's solid, but I don't think it's crazy, especially when you're getting nothing else out of it, so I don't really love this card, personally. We got Punisher War Machine. That sounds cool. He's a 2/2. Description: when you draw this, mark a location that's empty for you. Objective: win the location for +1 energy. I mean, they really overvalue +1 energy, do they? I mean, yeah, he's bad. These cards have been disappointing, not gonna lie. I was like, oh yeah, Punisher War Machine, he sounds so cool. The objective is for you to win the location to get 1+ energy. That is your objective, to get 1+ energy. 1. Now, if he was a 2/4 with 2 energy, I think he'd be good. I think he could be a 2/3 with 3 energy, and he would be good. But 1 energy, you can play Psylocke at the same power as him, and Psylocke gives you energy. Psylocke is better than this without the objective. You just play her, reveal her, and boom. That's it. This is like delayed energy, I guess, if you want to plan for it, but then just use Hope Summers. Use something else. This is like the worst combination of like energy you can get, especially since we know that it doesn't stack. So this is kind of bad. Sorry, but Punisher War Machine, I don't think this is a good card. I think this is pretty bad, especially since they're overrating how much 1 energy really gives you. It's nice, but there's so many other ways to get energy that are just more convenient than this. We have Ikari. You can only play this card where an enemy is afflicted with negative power. He is a 4/12. That's a lot of power. Okay, so my biggest issue with this guy, yes, he is a big stat stick. Yes, but Afflict is really hard to use in this meta. And I'm assuming it's only going to get harder to use on the ongoing metas unless they give us more Affliction or ways to apply Affliction or ways to nerf Luke Cage. Because Luke Cage can just cancel this guy. You just never play him. Now, I guess you could kind of force him out if you use like Dragon King or whatever his name is. What's his name? The dragon guy that can, like Jubilee Dragon. What's his name? Dragon Lord, right? I guess you could probably force him out with Dragon Lord. You could probably force him out with Jubilee, stuff like that. But like 4/7, the stat line is really good. His effect is a little complicated. It's not as simple as, oh yeah, play a hazmat. It might not be enough to put them in the negative. Putting a card into the negative is a little harder than that at times. Now, there will be times you get to play this guy relatively early because you just popped a Maru turn 2 or turn 3, I guess. And, you know, there's a -6 on the board. Therefore, you can play this on your turn 4. Assuming they don't cleanse it off or they, like, take it off. It would be nice in that situation. But overall, if you're going to be running an Affliction deck, you have to find a spot for this guy to be put in that Affliction deck. And most of the time when you build an Affliction deck, you have to build it with Affliction cards that do Afflicting to make it work. So he's taking a spot out of the deck for you to do that. Now, I would still rather run a Diamondback over this guy. I think she gives you more value overall. I would rather run a Phantom X because he gives you more value overall. He could be better in Apex, or I mean Ajax, because in a way, Ajax's biggest flaw is you need to mass afflict everything, even your own board at times, to get him big enough to be even 15 plus power. This guy is at a 4/12. I think he might be okay to replace Ajax with, assuming you can actually hit, you know, and assuming you can get the enemy to be in the negative affliction zone, right? So maybe. This might be okay. Maybe. Will it be popular? Probably not. Affliction's not popular. Will it be easy to use? I don't know. It's going to be one of those things we have to test it to try it. But I think his stat line is good. What it's asking is a little bit weird, but I don't think it's impossible. I just think it's more so how soon you can actually do what it's asking. How soon can you get an enemy in the negative and then play him? Moving on to Moose. Moose? I'm pretty sure he was in the Daredevil Born Again show, and it was pretty cool. So it says ongoing, +3 power for each location a friendly card has been destroyed in. That's not bad. However, in this current meta, Xiao Lao exists, and you can play Xiao Lao and destroy and get the same amount of power returned onto something that matters. While I don't dislike this idea, I just don't know if this is going to make the cut for all your decks. It's essentially a 3/12, I think, which is okay. Now, is he better than, like, Weapon X? No, not essentially. The ongoing effect is pretty nice because that means you can apply this when he's not on the field, which is the one thing I will give him over Weapon X. But in your best situation, you can get Weapon X over 20 power. With this guy, he's going to be just capped. I do think it's cool. I do think it's really easy to do. You just literally like Squirrel Girl, pop up like a Killmonger, and you're pretty much there essentially after you kill the last Squirrel Girl. For destroy decks, this is really achievable and really easy. For non-destroy stuff, you're not going to be using this guy at all. So for a destroy buff, is this nice? It's interesting. I don't know if this is what they necessarily want. It's definitely something you can use, but I still think Shallow is an easier subject to put in a destroy deck when all your costs are one cost anyway. You're pretty much spamming Deadpool out every turn. Deadpool, Headpool, Deadpool, Headpool. You're just spamming those two out anyway, so it's kind of like bittersweet. So I would personally use this guy to try him out, but I don't think he'd be the best thing in there. I think he'd just be an option. He's an optional thing to put into a destroy deck, and it's a different take on it. An ongoing effect that's usable. I think it's a usable ongoing effect. Because the only other one we have right now is Null, and not even Null wants to be used in destroy because Shallow just does it better. So it is what it is. Karen Page. 4/5. On reveal, give a friendly 1, 2, and 3 cost character +2 power. It says give a friendly 1, 2, 3 cost character +2 power. So essentially, it's one of each. This is how I'm reading it. So you get 6 power worth on top of her power. So assuming you have a 1, 2, and 3 cost, which isn't like, it's not that I don't think that's a good thing or I don't think it's possible. I think a 1, 2, 3 cost is kind of common in some decks. In a ramp deck, this could be probably pretty good, but you can actually juice it up even more, like with Jack Flag or whatever the ramp decks are using. It's a little bit of a sugar or a little bit of a cherry on top type of card where I think the cost is fine. The effect is decent, but it's not nothing crazy. Giving cards +2 power, a 1 and a 2 and a 3 cost, isn't a bad thing. It just means your early game is going to be stronger later on. So it's not bad. I think she's okay. All right, moving on to the last card here, Lady Bullseye. On reveal, afflict an enemy card with -2. Repeat this for each of your unspent energy to a different enemy. So this reminds me of Star-Lord a little bit because like Star-Lord does the same thing with like you reserve your energy and he gets X amount of power. And you can usually get like in an actual game where you're not cheesing it, where you're not purposely like abusing him, you can get him up to like +4, right? Depending on if there's magic, no magic, you can probably get more, depending on like if there's a turn 7. So when I think of this card in particular, I do think there will be decks that will cheese it just like you would Star-Lord, where you can probably pair the Star-Lord plus her together and get a ridiculous amount of -2s on a multiple set of enemies. I don't think she pairs well with Bullseye. Well, I can't say she doesn't pair well with them. I'm sure there's a way you can make them both work together if you can somehow math your energy per turn to make sure there's always at least one unspent energy. So like if we were to just like for example use my deck as a baseline of like could she work with the Phantom X? Maybe. So let's think about like energy per turn, right? Turn 1. I'm not using anything on turn 1. I don't play Black Cat on turn 1. I usually have nothing to do on turn 1. So that is one unreserved energy, right? That's one energy that I have for Bullseye. She's a 2/2. Keep that in mind. Turn 2. I have options. I can play Maru. I can play Bucky. I can play Wild Child. So I could skip turn 2 and reserve 3 energy for her instead if I think it's going to pay off in the long run, and then start playing the game on turn 3. Turn 3, I play Magic. I play Prowler. I play Luna. Luna in turn gives me more energy to use per turn, therefore more potential reserved energy. So turn 3 would be my real first turn that I would play on. So pop turn 3, I play a 3 cost card. Luna Snow. Turn 4, Phantom X. Turn 5. Magic. Magic plus Meru, I suppose. Or we can just, play Magic and keep the 2 extra unreserved energy for Lady Bullseye. Turn 6. Zombie Captain Marvel, if we need to. We could also play anything up top that's 2 or less, or 2 or more, right? Essentially, that turn 6 is when we can actually start playing cards if we were to try to use Lady Bullseye. And then go into turn 7, we have to use 2 costs to play Lady Bullseye, right? So we have 5 energy left. We'll say 6 if Luna Snow is still in the field. We technically have 6 energy left because they're getting technically 8 energy that turn. So we would use 2 for her. Probably proc it with Zombie Captain Marvel because it's an on-reveal, so you can probably utilize them together. We'd play we'd play Diamondback, probably, because we're about to afflict a bunch of things. We could play Wild Child, and then that would probably be where it ends. There are other situations where we could probably play Meru instead of Diamondback. There's probably situations where we can play Bucky instead of Diamondback or whatever it is and activate the Captain Marvel to actually get more power in return to have her locate to somewhere else. Prowler doesn't really fit in this deck anymore. Well, you could play Prowler and use his remote mines if you get the remote mines, or get his energy because he has an energy gauntlet. You could, in theory, get his energy gauntlet to use, which would give you probably 1 reserved energy if you used it like that. And then, Lady Bullseye would do her thing. She would probably hit 2 or 3 things from reserved energy at bare minimum. At maximum, if it's 1 energy per reveal or per -2, 4 to 5 things, potentially 6 things. I don't see it going much higher than that unless you use Star-Lord with her and you purposely try to skip all your turns and utilize Star-Lord. Now, I do see a world where people use this card with Star-Lord in a Wong Mystique deck to get as much energy as you can, bank up 40 energy or whatever it is you're trying to bank up. Because you could, Wong, Mystique, Star-Lord, Armazola, Star-Lord, and then you're sitting on maximum energy, and then she just afflicts everything on your board multiple times. Is this more efficient than Hazmat? I don't think so. Hazmat's strong because she juiced the whole board. Granted, you need Luke Cage, but -1, -1, -1, -1. It gets kind of hefty on the load of afflictions when you do it like that, right? That's why Silver Surfer or the Hazmat Surfer deck is so popular still. It's because it's just easy to use, and not a lot of people have a Luke Cage to counter it. Rogue also counters it, but Rogue's not popular. It's a niche card that I like. So, do I think this card is good? I think she will be okay. I don't think she's going to be better than any card in particular for any deck. I think she will be okay. I think she's similar to Diamondback, where you can fit her in, keep count of how much unused energy you have, and you can utilize that to your advantage to be okay, this game I definitely have unspent energy. This game I can definitely play Lady Bullseye turn 6, turn 7. And you can utilize that, right? Is it annoying to keep count of? Probably. I think this is more annoying to use than just something simple, like a Diamondback that will just automatically have the ongoing effect, like a Hazmat that has an reveal effect and that bursts everything at once. Now, you do get more negative out of her on a independent target or on a singular target, but as a whole, board-wise, I think you get more value from Hazmat if you're talking about full board. So, while I like this Afflict card, I don't love this Afflict card. I think this is going to bring just a toxic Wong Mystique Star-Lord variant deck that's just not fun to fight. So, I don't love it. I kind of wish they went with a different direction to make it more fit in line with the current Affliction decks to make it work that way. I would have preferred it if she was just Wild Child. You destroy a card, she afflicts something. You discard a card, she afflicts something, and it's ongoing. I think that would have been much more interesting and work better. But that's just my opinion. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Wait. There's one more. Stick. Good old Stick. Who the heck is Stick? On reveal, give the next card you play power equal to this card's power. You want my honest opinion? If you're gonna do something, just play Shuri. I mean, to be fair, if you play Shuri, you have to play the card on Shuri. This gives you that flexibility to like play elsewhere, and you could probably utilize that by cheesing it with Agony. No, yeah, you could cheese it with Agony and maybe some other style of ramp. So there's that. But honestly, it's not that crazy. Well, I say that, but this pairs really well with the Horseman of War Wolverine because this is literally 3 power. So it would just get him, you know, his current power. But so does Agni. Agni's a 1/3 and does the same thing. So it's just another variation card for ramp that is just worded weirdly. Well, not worded weirdly. It's just, I don't know. It gives you more options to play at different fields, I guess, because you don't have to play on that field. That's kind of nice. So kind of like a Maverick in a way without the activates. But, I mean, I don't know. He's okay. I guess he's okay. If you want to go ramp and you want to, and you're tired of playing on certain locations, and your only other option is Maverick, yeah, Stick, I suppose. Stick could work. So, yeah, if I'm being honest, out of all these cards, Lady Bullseye, Stick, Karen Page, Muse, Punisher, Wilson, and Daredevil himself, I think Muse is probably the best one, maybe. Between that and Lady Bullseye, maybe if you cheese her, but I don't know. This whole bundle of cards is kind of like, they're not that impressive, but I think a lot of this is going to be more so like we play them and then we get impressed or we don't get impressed by playing them. Maybe you just got to play the card to feel the power of these cards, but on text, these don't seem that crazy for the most part. They seem pretty tames. So, am I looking forward to any? Muse and Lady Bullseye would be the two that I'm looking forward to, but I'm not sold on it. I'm not really sold that this card is worth 6,000 collector's coins. I'm not sold on it. Maybe, but I don't plan on cheesing her either with Star-Lord because that's just kind of cringe. So it is what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think of these cards and which one's your favorite out of the bunch. Thanks for watching. Peace.